Welcome back to the channel and to the podcast. You're here with me, Alex.
And me, Gareth.
And we're here for another episode 2 of
Target
Locked, our drop verse. So Dropzone Commander, Drop Fleet Commander, Striketeam Commander, Battlezone Commander podcast. Hence why we're going to call it Drop Verse.
Yeah.
Because it rolls off the tongue a bit more.
Yeah.
Where shall we begin? How long has it been since the last episode? We did kind of a half episode about unboxing models.
3 weeks. It was the same week as Danger Close, wasn't it?
Yes. Beat Quarters.
Oh, Beat Quarters. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. The other name.
The other name.
So yes. It's been a while. How have you been?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. So yeah, been busy with work, switching jobs, so haven't had much hobby time. But I did manage to squeak a few hours painting yesterday, which was nice.
You say a few hours and haven't done much hobby. You're sat in front of three
yeah.
brand new Scourge Battleships, so I think you've done quite a bit of hobby.
That's the only problem when you go to the hobby shop to paint is they sell things.
Ah, I see. Right.
So I went with one and came back with 3.
Right, I see. That is dangerous.
Yeah, it is dangerous.
I've done significantly less hobby, certainly less drop-verse hobby, but I've also finished my UCM Battleship.
Nice.
Which we'll get to in a bit. What should we start with? The way this kind of works, is we're going to go over any sort of drop-verse news that there is, and then talk about the main sort of theme. I guess the main theme for this is talking about these new battleships.
Yes, yeah.
So we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yep.
Shall we start by going over upcoming events?
Yep, that makes sense.
Followed by a few weeks. So what have we got in order? Beat Quarters has just been.
Yes.
We'll come back to that in a bit. Danger Close.
Danger Close.
Danger Close is, of course, our next event. So that is my Dropzone Commander event series. At time of recording, we are on just shy of 20 players. If my co-host buys his ticket, we'll be on 20 players.
I will be getting my ticket. 1 game under the belt.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I'm coming for that spoon.
Again, everyone says this every time. No one says, I'm going for first place. I'm in this to win this. Nobody says that.
No.
But we get like 4 or 5 people saying that spoon is mine.
That's it. I want rock bottom.
Might as well just feed into a wood chipper and just hand out the shade. But yes, Danger Close coming up on the 22nd of March, so a month and a bit at time of recording. Again, we're on about 20 players. We had 18 last time, so that's already more than the previous one. And I said to Firestorm, can I have maybe a couple more tickets? So they added 8.
Yeah. There was a good few players playing there yesterday as well, I noticed, practicing lists. So I think there's more people potentially interested, which is good.
Nice, yeah. I did hear from one of the Firestorm members of staff that they've seen an uptick in Dropzone and Drop Fleet.
Yeah, there's quite a bit.
Which is good to see.
Yeah, really good to see.
If we can hit 28, which I think is our realistic maximum, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
So there will, as always, all of these events will have links in the description. But yes, Danger Close, 22nd of March. Great to see you if you can make it.
Yeah.
The next event is...
Meridian Incident?
The Meridian Incident, yes, which I struggle to say. Do you want to take this one?
Yep, so the Meridian Incident is going to be in TT's own store in Bromley.
Okay.
They have a single-player league building up to the event, but the event will be on April 22nd.
This is Drop 26th, I think.
26th, sorry, yes, that's right.
And it's Drop Fleet?
It is Drop Fleet.
Yes.
Yes, so it's a single-player tournament. I don't know the points off the top of my head.
1,500.
1,500 points.
3 games in one day. Tickets, I think it's about £20 to £25, they said.
And it's directly through TT, the ticket sale, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think that, much like Beat Quarters, the one I just ran there, sort of testing the waters with a... That's a loud thud from upstairs. I assume my partner's fine. Testing the waters with like a by the numbers event.
Yeah.
But as you said, they're doing this league leading up to it.
Yeah, there's a league being built up ahead of schedule just to bring in new players and get people used to the game mechanics ahead of the actual... it's not really a competitive event, it's a narrative event.
Yeah.
I've been having a chat with Will, the manager of the store. He's bounced a few ideas off me. Everything he's doing seems really good, actually. So cool. He's come sort of forward with these 2 ideas because I think initially we were talking about a doubles tournament.
Okay.
But I think the current plan is we'll see where the league and the event heads, and then maybe have a look at doing a doubles tournament further down the line.
Cool.
Yeah. But it's nice to see some games running in TT's own store.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And just more Dropzone and Drop Fleet events in general.
Yeah, can't hurt at all.
No, not at all. So yeah, again, there'll be a link to that, to the Meridian incident in the description, and as well their league for beginners leading up to it.
Yeah.
I think they have their own Discord server and Facebook group and so on, which you can reach, again, all via the links. What's the current update for UK Games Expo?
So I've had quite a lot of emails back and forth now with the events organizer,
Okay.
who's reasonably new in post to my understanding.
Okay.
Just checking, because I've put forward a reasonably ambitious quota of 32 players, which I don't think is out of the question, given how sort of more central it is compared to where players are based.
Yeah.
And she was just checking, is this your first time running an event this size? How are you going to market things? So I sent her a raft of information that she can work off now. About a week ago, I'm hopefully going to get an update tomorrow. I do have a phone number though, so I'm yeah.
You can escalate if
that's I can escalate. Yes, yeah.
Okay. There is a date for it, isn't there?
There is a date, which is 31st of May.
Okay.
And I think all bar something catastrophically going wrong, I think we're going to be good to go.
Cool.
But as soon as I've got the green light, I will send everything out, because it is quite literally all set ready to go. So.
Yeah. And once you do, I'll go back and edit the description and so on, and obviously we'll talk about it when we have the full details in the appropriate podcast.
Yes.
So, yes, coming soon.
Coming soon.
On the, what's the date again, sorry?
That is going to be May 31st, which is the Saturday of UKGE.
Cool, excellent. Again, I'm going to be there. I'll be playing. Are you going to play, do you think? Are you going to be the fill player? Or?
I'm going to try and play if I can, but I probably will be in the fill player.
Yeah, someone's got to be, haven't they?
Yeah.
Cool. So that's Games Expo, and then we still have Reconquest.
Reconquest on 6th of September in Firestorm Games.
Yep.
So, time of recording, I think there are 44 tickets still left for that one. I mean, it's still a way out yet.
A better part of a year at this point still.
Yeah, that's it. I've got the Reconquest campaign moving alongside that at the moment as well, to build up towards the final.
Yep.
With the intent of the stats that I draw down for the most common game type played for February, March and April will make the mission pack.
Okay.
So I think, I can't remember what the actual mission was I put together from January as an example, but I drew down all the data from January, put the mission together, and sort of said this would have been one of the missions potentially played, and that's how this will work. I also put the least common mission together, and that's worth double points for anybody who wants to play it in month.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah,
That works.
I'm going to have a go of it on Saturday with a close friend, and he's insisted it would be drinking rules, which I don't know how that works yet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You have to let me know how that works.
Yeah, so
might have to implement it.
Yeah, the battle report may go downhill swiftly.
Firestorm does have a bar.
It does. It does.
And Games Expo definitely has bars. Okay.
Yeah, but it'll build up to the event. So the mission pack will come out in what will probably be early May.
Okay.
Main reason for delaying it is because there's probably a lot of other things that will shake out in Drop Fleet before September rolls around. So I wanted to leave it as long as possible without leaving players too short on time to put something together.
Yep.
But we'll see how that goes.
I think we're still kind of hashing out what the correct points are for Drop Feed, aren't we? Or are you settled on 1500 now?
I think I'm settled on 15. After I don't want to jump the gun, we'll come to it in a moment, but I think after beat to quarters, I think 15's fine.
I think so too. I think it might be a bit of a tall order to go above it.
2 is a stretch.
Yeah. I'd love to know how it is that Dave thinks the game plays at 2K. I've not tried it. Maybe it works.
No, I mean, you can run 2 Dreadnoughts at 2K.
You shouldn't tell me things like that. Just finished the first one. Okay, we'll try some 2K games on the channel at some point and see how it works. Maybe we're missing a trick.
Get your Londoner Washington wingman.
I can have 2 Washingtons.
Or 2 Washingtons.
Both have heavy bombers. And have it backed up by a Carthage with heavy bombers.
Fantastic.
And that's my fleet, basically.
Good. Good. I need more stuff.
Yes.
Need more guns.
But yeah, I think that's it for our lineup for events currently.
I think so.
Again, if you're running any events, anywhere in the world. Like, we're quite happy to talk about events anywhere.
Yes.
Let us know. We can quite happily give them a shout out, put a link in the description, and so on.
Because we recently had, was it CanCon, the Australian event, recently passed. We put all the data into the Reconquest campaign as well. So it was all randomized because nobody had actually selected where they were going on the map.
But it's still more wins and losses by faction and so on.
Absolutely. So if anyone's got anything, events of any of the Dropverse going on, please let us know because we can pull that data in for the campaign as well.
Yep. And if you're playing just regular games at home or in the club, again, put them into the campaign directly yourself.
Absolutely.
I think we said we're going to try and do a bit more in terms of updates on the campaign, like how it's going, what fronts we're seeing evolving, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that in my effort to be clear about how it works, don't think it'll be that clear. So, still got the L plates on in regards to running a campaign, so I'm going to be putting some together hopefully before Sunday.
Okay.
To clear things up a smidge.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That is it for our upcoming events. What else do we want to talk about? There is Striketeam, obviously.
Yeah.
The Kickstarter still hasn't happened yet. It's the end of February.
So my wallet is already filing for abuse.
I can neither confirm or deny that I may have had a look at some of the early rules, and it looks interesting because it's going to be expensive, I think.
Oh dear.
Obviously, can't say anything about it other than I assume I can say this because this is just good news. I did ask whether every faction is going to be represented in the Kickstarter, or if it would be something like UCM versus Scourge initially, and I don't know, Resistance as a stretch goal.
Yeah,
it's not that. We have been told that basically all factions are going to be in the game at release.
Fantastic.
So all 6, because obviously 5 officers are in there.
If I can't take pure Pungari, I'm going to be very upset.
Oh, God. I already despise them in 2 other systems. I'm going to hate them in this one as well. In fact, there's a... No, I can't talk about that. No.
Not even have a dice touch a table. I hate Pungari.
Yeah. just stupid little hammerhead goblin things I can't say on a family-friendly channel. Again, when we know more about Striketeam, we'll obviously cover it. There is a little bit of Dropzone news.
There's a little bit of Dropzone news.
So, a friend of mine, Alex, it's confusing. Alex is brown hair, glasses, beard.
Okay.
So, obviously, very total class.
Easily separated.
Yeah. Alex, other Alex and I mainly the other Alex, have been working on getting Dropzone Commander onto new recruits. For anyone who's not aware, New Recruit is kind of a successor to Battlescribe.
Yeah.
It's much better than Battlescribe.
It is way better.
But it's basically an online system-agnostic army builder. So anyone can put any data in they want. So you've got your Warhammers, you've got Conquest.
Yeah, I use it for Gaslands and for Frostgrave.
Yeah. Drop Fleet has been on there since day 1. Version 2. There's one lone guide all on its own.
It's well updated as well. Fair play to that person. Well done you.
Which basically just means there is a army builder, because there isn't an official one for Drop Fleet. And the official one for Dropzone does its best, but falls over more than I'd like, and there are quite a few rules errors in there. So anyway, Alex and I took it upon ourselves to put all of Dropzone into New Recruit, and it is mostly done.
Fair play. I built a Shaltari list with it earlier today, actually, and it seems to work really, really nicely, which is good.
There are a few teething troubles. It's a bit clunky on a phone compared to doing it on a desktop, but it's definitely better than nothing. Most of the rules in there are accurate, and there is the ability to submit any bugs or any errors you come across directly, and it goes into Alex's or my inbox, and we fix it within a day. Yeah. So there's a few more things we need to do. We need to add a couple of behemoths and get a few of the more fiddly famous commanders working. But it is definitely playable, definitely works for most games of Dropzone. Yeah. And it means you can make your list on your PC, and then it will then sync with your phone. So yeah, there'll be a link in the description. If you use it, please spread the word as like an alternative to the official builder. It'd be really great if it becomes the sort of semi-official way to make lists.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the most accessible by a mile currently, because that app is free to use unless you want to subscribe Yeah.
Exactly. And I think even the only thing you get if you don't subscribe is you have an unobtrusive ad at the bottom.
Yeah. I think you can name your units as well.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should subscribe. That'd be quite fun. It's also, this probably is irrelevant to almost everyone listening. It's also great for running tournaments.
Yes, had some success with that, didn't you?
Yes, which again we'll get to in a moment in detail. But yeah, New Recruit lets you run tournaments. It lets you import lists. So I can send Gareth a link saying join my tournament.
Yeah.
He can join it and then send his lists directly to me. I can then verify them in New Recruit myself. And then at your game, you can then go, here's the QR code for my list.
Yes.
Your opponent scans it and looks at everything's stats. It's we're living in the future. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even to the point where I could see my first game pairing 2 days ahead of the event. So I knew what list I was going to see on the day.
Yeah.
Well,
both
one of two.
lists,
Yes.
Exactly. So it supports there being 2 lists.
Yeah.
Incredible little bit of software. Really good app.
Yeah.
And a really good way to play Dropzone or Dropfleet. So yeah, credit to Alex, the other Alex, for doing all the hard work. I can do data entry. I know nothing about programming, but I can type in the numbers and they'll mostly be right. Credit to, I don't know his real name, but Kemp on the Dropfleet Discord. He's the guy who's done all of it for Dropfleet.
Oh, that's the gentleman who's done that? Right, okay, yeah.
Which
fantastic
is
job. Really good.
Champion of the community.
Yeah.
Link to that in the description.
Just while we're on apps, just to circle back.
Oh, yeah.
There is a Reconquest campaign app now.
Is there that?
There is. So, so shout out to Claudio, who actually helped me. Well, I'm saying helped. He created the website and then gave me access and told me how to edit things.
Right. You're in the same sort of boat as me, where you're the ideas guy.
Yes. Somebody's like, oh, that's really good. Here's how you should do it better. Like, cool. No problem at all. But yes, when you log into the website now on your phone, it'll prompt you if you want to download the app.
Okay.
And you can get all the updates straight on the app, which is quite nice, actually.
I'll have to have a look at it later. I had no idea.
I installed it 2 weeks ago. I didn't know it was happening either.
Nice.
It just materialized. Like, oh, cool.
I think that is all of our news. So we've got 2 topics to cover. Shall we go over the tournament first or the battleships first?
Should we say dessert for last and go over the tournament?
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
Make them listen to us monologue first, and then we'll talk about the actual spaceships. So the tournament was Beat to Quarters, my first Dropfleet tournament, because again I've run a few Dropzone ones. Looked at how it worked for Dropfleet and thought that looks easy enough. And it was actually. It was quite easy to run.
Yeah.
It was run at Excelsior Games in Bristol, my sort of old stomping grounds.
Nice venue as well.
Nice venue, yeah. Nice shop downstairs, and then second floor is all gaming space, which we had the majority of, I think.
I ate a lot of cake that day as well.
Yeah, they have a cafe, which is dangerous.
Yeah.
Nice little venue. 3 games, 1,500 points. We both played.
Yes,
we were odd numbers, so I got to fill in as the spare player. You were, I think, on the first field to buy a ticket as well.
Yeah, I was rather excited about that. I could play one.
Well, exactly, yeah. As TOs, we barely actually get to play our favourite systems at events. So, tell me, how did it go for you? What did you bring, first of all?
So I brought Scourge, and I think I was the only Scourge player.
You were, yes.
Yeah. I didn't bring anything sort of terribly game you're out the ordinary. I threw lists together with sort of reasonably efficient ships and just thought, well, it's the first one I've really had a go at. I've never really played at a competitive level before, so I'll see how it goes as a learning curve. So I think I fielded, one of my lists had 2 Akuma, a decent amount of drop. I think there was a Shenlong in there. I can't remember what else was actually in there now. And then my second list was more focused on launch, so I used a Devil, 2 Hydra. I used Charybdis in that list because one of the missions required you to score using Raise. Or not necessarily through Raise, it was Protect, rather.
Yeah. The missions were released in advance. It was the first 2 missions from the rulebook, with the second one tweaked from Raise to Protect.
Yes.
Just so people didn't just go, Mission 2, I bring a bombardment list and bombard everything.
Yeah.
And then Mission 3 was a weird one with moons. Yeah, all of it released in advance. People could tailor their 2 lists to these 3 scenarios they're going to play.
Yeah. How about your list?
Yes, I did technically write 2 lists,
Yeah.
of which I played 1.
Yeah.
Because I quickly realised I don't have the bandwidth to swap around and be sensible. I'm not here to win. I'm here for a good time, so I brought the London.
When you gave Ethan the option, he
that's
effectively
true.
decided he wanted to play against London.
That's true, and therefore he is responsible for happening to everyone else.
Yes, yes.
I had one list that was just a very techie list with a Venice, trying to really play around the various abilities that gives you and jump on things you couldn't ordinarily reach. And then I had a list that had a London with an Admiral in it, with mass driver volley, that every turn would just move up 2 action points. I think it came to 56 shots. Might have been 54. I can't remember. And what it looked at died. Sometimes it looked at 2 things, and they both died.
They both died.
It's
splendid.
I think it lost maybe 5 hull points across the events.
Did you have escorts with it?
Yeah, I had a Vienna following it around.
Fantastic.
Some of those hits were self-inflicted because UCM Rear Admiral has push engines to max.
Oh, okay.
Where every ship in the group takes 1 damage. It's got 24 hit points, so...
Yeah.
Adds 2 to its thrust.
Which is ideal, really, because was it thrust 6?
Yeah. So in the second mission, which was distant deployment, it obviously turned up late. But then max thrust, it's +2 to its thrust, not to its total speed.
Oh, so it goes up to 16?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, right. Which is fast when people want a dreadnought to move.
Yeah, much faster. Oh, good, it's arrived late. Oh, wait, it's on me. Okay.
Yes, exactly. I think I had some lemurs in there to spot for it. I was quite light on drop. I had 2 Glasgows and 2 Rios to round it out.
Yeah.
Because the Rios also work quite well with mass driver volley.
I learned very quickly I was light on drop everywhere.
Yeah.
I thought I'd packed well enough and it really wasn't.
Right. I had to... I think my only drop was 1 San Francisco, 1 New Orleans, and 2 Lysanders, so really quite light.
Oh, that's light, yeah.
But it's behind a London, so...
Yeah, it's fine.
It was, for the most part. I hadn't intended to bring an especially powerful list, but it did quite well. Let's go through your games. So, Mission 1 was... I've got it in the book in front of me, because that's how this book works. Mission 1...
It was the standard scenario, wasn't it?
Standard scenario was take and hold.
Yes.
I'll probably put up a picture, actually, but we'll just put that there in front of the camera that's so far shown nothing at all. And this was by the numbers, so... Yeah, 3 drop sites, close deployment, 2 medium space stations, and survey.
And there's no quick wins here because the closest drop site is 18 inches off.
Yes.
So you had to advance into the board, which I did quite enjoy, actually. It's a very different way of playing than I'm used to.
How did it go?
Had a really hard fought draw against a Biophysolist, which was built, I think maybe 1 of his cruisers / battlecruisers didn't have a side weapon, and then it was the I forget the name. Is it Scion battlecruiser with the long range 12 dice?
Oh, that now has Reeve. Yes.
Yeah,
I think it's a Scion. It might be the stature.
So
but
that's the one that didn't have the siding weapons.
Okay.
So there was a lot of
Reeve.
Yeah, there was a lot of sniping. 2 coral, so you could mark his targets on approach.
Nice.
But I think where I played really cagey the first turn, I think only 1 ship wasn't on silent running. That's because I used it to, I think I maxed thrust a Lamassu just to get into position. I was quite surprised, actually. I think the nerfs to side weapons maybe have gone too far, because I was expecting to get absolutely spanked from long range, and when I realised actually they don't hurt half as much, I put my foot on the gas and I was really sort of in there.
Right, okay, so they're a bit more toothless than you thought they were.
Yeah, and then on the flip side, I had 3 yokai look at a cruiser and it vanished.
Okay.
And I was like, yes, okay, so what we've learned is I can joust absolutely fine.
Yeah, because Biophysolist ships are made of paper. If you get in range, I think they're the squishiest in the game, aren't they?
They must be.
Shatari have got similar hull, but obviously have got shields. Whereas, yeah, Bioficer ships melt.
Yeah, they do. I mean, tiny signatures, you have to get really up and close, but it's fine because Scourge like that.
Yeah, exactly. My mission one, everyone played the same mission for each round, was against Ethan, who was running Shartari in his first game of Drop Fleet.
Big play.
Absolute champion, turning up to an event, having never played. He read the book, but he was going in blind.
Decent list as well.
Yeah. He had a Uranium Dreadnought.
Yeah.
So he had Dreadnought on Dreadnought combat.
With a diamond.
With a diamond as well. The diamond the diamond was where the other 5 hull points came off the London in the event.
Oh, okay.
He rolled extraordinarily badly trying to hurt it, because I stupidly moved out of position, leaving my Vienna behind. He pounced, he did everything right, except for getting the bits of plastic the right way up, because he rolled a bunch of 1s and nothing happened. And I killed the diamonds.
Dice games, ladies and gents.
Exactly, there's no accounting for dice luck. The game very much went in my favour. I think I spent quite a bit of the game manoeuvring around debris fields, trying to hide from the uranium, because neither of us wanted to go first, until finally he had to come first due to an activation advantage. And I don't think I killed it, but I definitely upset it, while also clearing out the gates elsewhere on the board. So for me, it was quite a decisive win.
Yeah.
Which, it was his first game. I can't claim I did especially well. Took it well, at least.
Yeah, but no, credit to Tom. I really, really underestimated how good his drop and his bombard was. So I thought I was running away with the game coming into the first scoring turn.
Right.
And I was very swiftly corrected.
Oh, what are they called? The monitors, the 6 shots.
Oh, the core damage
core.
things. Yeah, they're horrid.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Yeah, they're awful.
And he had a group of 2.
Yeah, and there was a lot of drop and bombard across the table with the genital towers, which don't feel like they're in a bad position. But I had no bombardment. So yeah, had a real bad day. All of a sudden, I think going into that turn, I had every drop site covered.
Right.
And then I didn't.
I see.
Yeah. And then I was coming back from trying to fight back from that, and unfortunately, he didn't have too much in the air following that, so I think I was able to claw a draw.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, it was scrappy.
Yeah. Which we won for a good game.
Yeah.
How was your game 2? This was on Erupting Battlefront for people at home. So this is 1 planetary ring straight across the middle of the board, distant deployment, which I thought would be interesting, and then 4 drop sites, each of which have hangars. So everyone's getting 3 bombers.
Yeah.
Normally the mission is raise. I switched it to protect, so both players pick a single drop site to defend in effect.
Yeah.
Just so it wasn't, again, you have an all bombarded fleet.
No, so I played.
What did you get?
I played another really close game against the UCM.
Okay.
So Tony's UCM, the red UCM. And I took my odds list, which was mostly launch. Going into this game, I planned to take that list anyway.
Okay.
And try and maximise on the hangers that were on the table.
Yeah.
So I think I was capable of putting out 15 launch a turn, and the idea being I could put bombers in the one half, not going beyond the planetary ring.
Yeah.
And then it means that I can sit them and they can protect everything behind the line, and I can actually move everything through the line and go for it.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, and by and large it went really well until 2 Glasgows and a Madrid fixed the problem. Yes. So,
yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, I had, I think my one objective was the protect objective, as well as Tony's target for priority target.
Right.
So he scored both just for flattening that drop site. And I managed to intercept the Glasgow's on the way in. I think I knocked one out before it fired, and then the Madrid just came in and wrapped up.
Yeah, that's a lot of bombardment.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Geneva sat in the back, which was quite nice. I had a really sort of want to go and get that, because he's also had what's the command ability that lets you just cause core damage to a site?
Oh, infiltrate and sabotage.
Good.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a really good one. It might even still be too good at 2 action points.
Yeah.
But
again, it was another game where dominated in terms of the actual air superiority.
Yeah.
Went in, killed lots of stuff. I think I ended up 2 points shy of Tony in the end, so he had a 2-point victory. It's a really, really, really good game though. He's out of the player, really good. Yeah, very much enjoyed. How was yours?
How's mine? I had your first player for my second round, so I had Tom and his Biophysers.
Yeah.
Tom is someone to play quite a bit. He's a regular at the club where we were playing, and funny enough, we played basically the exact same mission as a practice game the week before, where I did rather well. So this is kind of a rerun, and he had a training montage where he went onto the Drop Fleet Discord and asked other Biophysser players, how do I win, because I'm not. It's going awfully. He did much better. It was a close game. Obviously, because it was distant deployment and I couldn't be bothered to switch list, the London was taking most of the game to show up.
Yeah.
But again, that trick of push engines to max and max thrust got us up the board surprisingly quickly. And kind of had the inverse of what you said, where it was going badly for me. I was losing on all fronts until London showed up, and then I wasn't. And it just showed up to the centre drop site, turn 3, turn 4, open fire, and then there was just nothing left within 12 inches of it.
Fantastic.
I think it was like 5-way split fire, and everything. I mean, it was mostly like cells and other light ship groups, but just lifted everything here to there off the board.
Triangular dust.
Yes. It's really quite good. London is really quite good.
I started painting mine today for
I don't want to fight that. That's horrible. It went rather well for me. I think I had a similar thing where my Glasgows then managed to break the line and go. I wasn't able to destroy the target drop site, but I think I was able to push him off it. And ended up with a win. But nowhere near as close a win as Tom's on my practice games, so definitely marked improvement on his part. He was playing better. I think his fleet was basically the same, so it was all down to him just playing better. And some jammy luck on my part. Because I couldn't be bothered to build up. There's a lot of I couldn't be bothered in these stories. I strategically didn't want to keep my bombers back and wait for him to have to come over the line. I thought instead, I'll build up a wave, I'll probably roll some ones, because when they fly through the planetary ring, each bomber individually is destroyed in a 2+.
Yeah.
So I rolled like 3 ones. And so 3 bombers made it through into a cruiser when they really shouldn't have.
No business being there at all.
No business being there at all, and crippled it or something along those lines. So yeah, I got lucky in a few places where I didn't deserve to.
Fair play. Did you have any sort of standout ships other than your London in the game? Or?
What other ships? There were other ships. The Glasgows.
They are really good.
They're just good line fighters.
Yeah.
They're punchy close range. Those close action missiles are mean.
Yeah.
And their bombardment is always a threat. They're often my MVPs. Although actually the Rios.
Oh really?
Yeah. I think some people sleep on the Rios.
Yeah, I mean they've always been decent. I think in most editions and sort of updates, they've mostly been really solid.
Yeah. I just found, exactly that. They were solid, they were dependable. They didn't spike very often, but you're rolling enough dice that you tend to, the variance averages out. You kind of get what you expect when you shoot with them. If the London wasn't in position, they were a good target for mass driver volley, which obviously ups their firepower further. They can take a punch back, and they're cheap enough to not really care what happens to them all that much.
No, fair play.
They did remarkably well.
I had 2 groups of 3 Charybdis frigates, which I've been a bit here and there on, and they both did really, really well. In a mission where you've got bombards, they were really fantastic.
Nice.
Given they've got a thrust of 12, if timed right, you can use a max thrust to get behind the opposition, and then you kind of, they're difficult to deal with. And they've got Skull 2 on a bombardment strike. Group of 3's got 12 shots, so they're pretty tasty.
Yeah, that's going to lift most battalions, remove any problematic features. Yeah, that's nice. Mission 3. So, when I was picking what missions to do, I was looking at the PDF of the rulebook and went, there are only 2 standard scenarios. So, I'll do 1 and 2 and make up a third one, I guess. Is that what you're meant to do? I don't know why. Turns out in the physical paper rulebook, there's then 2 additional pages of standard scenarios.
I missed these as well.
So in hindsight, probably should have done one of these. But they're not in the PDF, and I only noticed at the event. So instead, mission 3 was not... I didn't roll for it, but I picked some of the variants. So it was
Moonlight, is it?
Moonlight Deployment, or Moonlight Map, which is 2 moons, or large stellar objects.
Yeah.
Printed at great cost in ink the night before. A number of small and medium drop sites and 2 space stations. Because I didn't fully understand how this works, there were no features.
No.
I then claimed it was intentional because I thought game 3, everyone's tired.
Yeah.
That's why there are no features.
Attrition, I think, was the scoring as
and
well.
Attrition scoring, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was semi-deliberately, a nice simple mission.
Yeah.
With the moons being the twist, if you like, which were interesting.
Yeah.
Who did you have?
I played Ethan in the third game. Had a really fun game with Ethan.
On his third game of Drop Fleet.
On his third game of Drop Fleet ever.
Yeah.
He surprisingly came forward really aggressively, which I wasn't ready for. So he managed to get some really good shots and kill my Admiral on the first go. But then, with Scourge being Scourge, they are well within sort of I can move and get within scald range.
That's the thing of you're approaching me, you're flying into my scald range?
Yeah, the table turned a little bit. We back and forth for the first 3 turns. His uranium did a lot of work, but I narrowly didn't capture it. I had borders on it.
I see.
It came down to 1 hull. I had 2 borders left on there from Hiroko Torps. And he drove it forwards towards a crippled cruiser, blew the cruiser up, it exploded, killed the uranium, so I didn't get the points, the double points for capturing it.
I mean, that's Sheltari 4D chess.
Yeah,
like to see.
yeah, I was most upset with that. The game unfortunately went in my favour quite nicely. I think I picked up the full 1500 for attrition.
Nice.
But otherwise, a very, very good game. I didn't feel that the results properly sort of reflected how Ethan played.
That's often the way of it with Drop Fleet, isn't it? Because you score in turn 4 and 6, you can have a really bloody, down to the wire turn 1, 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And then if one fleet then crumbles, the score then looks incredibly one-sided.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Did he have fun, as far as you could tell?
I think he had fun. I hope he had fun anyway. Certainly, Diamond and the Uranium was a lot to deal with in terms of his offensive output.
Yeah.
Found that really challenging.
Nice.
But there wasn't much left on there was unfortunately no Sheltari left, but there wasn't much Scourge left in response either, so it was bloody on both sides.
Which again you want to see.
Yeah.
Nice. Who did I have for round 3? I had Morgan as my first experience of playing PHR.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I've never had the pleasure before. Turns out Morgan's a really good player. Unsporting, I think. No, I'm obviously kidding. He was a lovely player to play against. Played really well, knew what he was doing. I couldn't tell you what was in his list because they all look the same to me. That's not fair. He had a close action battleship. Which one that is?
The Radamus.
Rings a bell.
Yeah.
He had a couple of the blockade runners, which were incredibly fast.
Jace.
And drop. Jason's?
Oh, the ones with drop would be the Odysseus.
Probably. Yep. He had 2 groups of the, I want to say, Harpocrates.
Oh, the
Turn your weapons off.
Yeah.
The little.
God, I hate those.
Oh yeah. See. Yeah.
20 points well spent on one of those things.
Absolutely.
40 on a pair.
Yeah, and he had a space station, which is an interesting sort of point of controversy currently for Drop Fleet. Because fleet space stations, you can take them for points. You can take generic ones, like a basic, small, unarmed space station is 30.
Yeah.
And they go on from there. And then every fleet, other than Biofizzers for the time being, have got their own fleet space stations that, to varying extents, lean into what that fleet wants to do.
Yeah.
Interestingly, they are scoring. If you bring along a space station, you deploy it at least 8 inches from your deployment zone, and then you put some troops in it, it's a scoring drop site.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how I feel about.
No, because
not just because I lost.
But it's almost. It means that everyone's got to do it. If your opponents are taking the space station, it kind of means you probably should take it.
Just so it's equal, yeah. Because otherwise, lots of scenarios, not this one admittedly, but lots of scenarios will be, say, 3 major drop sites down the middle,
Yeah.
so that one person's going to come out on top. The second you have a space station,
Yeah.
They just now can play defensively or passively to get a draw.
Yeah, I can outscore you from where I am.
Yeah.
Over to you.
I certainly can't think of a better use of 30 points.
Nope.
If you've got 30
Small
points
space station in the back, perfect.
Yeah. He didn't have a generic one, he had one of the actual PHR ones, and did say he bought it because he likes the model, which is fair enough, it was very well painted.
Was it one of the ones with the missile halo or whatever it is that shoots everything in 360?
It was the other one with the Mega Nova lasers, I think.
That sounds delightful.
Could be a super sniffer, I can't remember.
No.
But it was essentially a no-fly zone. They were very high damaging lasers, decent scan, so if you go too close, it was basically this part of the board belongs to me.
Yeah.
And it was also 8 inches away from the other space station on his side of the board, so he was able to drop in both of them quite quickly.
Oh, good.
And have the PHR one defend the other one very effectively.
Fantastic.
And then, of course, we had some debris fields as well, which then messed with line of sight for getting to each other. So, how did it go? This is where the London's weaknesses came into effect, which is it can't see through moons. Which I personally think is a problem.
Yeah,
they should fix.
Yeah, they should definitely fix that.
I think so. Or I should be able to move the moon using the gravitational field of the Dreadnought or something like that.
Or you can get one of those fancy little biofighter ships that curve their shots.
Yeah. It'd be very cool if you could do that, actually. Yeah, Morgan played very well. He threw forward one of the groups of... They are Harpocrates, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Threw forward one of the groups, who then came forward, dropped into atmosphere just like millimetres out from one of these debris fields, because it was just narrow enough that next activation he could, within atmosphere, move under it.
Oh.
And come up.
And come back up.
And turn my Dreadnought off.
Good.
Oh. So that was an immediate. Oh, okay, you know what you're doing. That's concerning.
If my friend Dave is watching, I really hope he didn't hear that last passage of.
Do you want to bleep that?
Yeah, I do, because my Amazon hates them already. So
I did manage to deal with it. I had the London move up, and I think turn 1 weapons free plus mass driver volley, because you're hitting on 6s and something in atmosphere, but when you're rolling 56 dice, some of them hit. Yeah. Which they did. Yeah. Because I was able to remove them, but it was definitely an intimidating opening move. The fast close action battleship, I've already forgotten its name.
I think it's a Radimus.
Radimus, whatever it's called, came around my right flank and immediately put pressure on there, where I planned to move my drop around that corner. And the rest of his fleet basically played hide from the London. Manoeuvring around using the moons and the debris field as cover. It was a very cagey game for the first few turns, because everything that London looked at died. But I could only ever see 1 or 2 things, or never what I wanted to see. So it was, again, weirdly bloodless, kind of, for the first few turns. He did use weapons hack every single turn on my New Kairos. I forgot to mention I had a group of 2 New Cairo light cruisers, the lasers. Yeah. Because they only have 1 weapon. Yeah. So every turn... Good. They... cool. So the one turn they did pass their backup save and fired, and Morgan said, I don't know why I was bothering to use weapons hack on them. They're a bit rubbish, really.
That's even more insult to injury. I'm finally going to use them!
And they do nothing. No. The other Harpocrates managed to turn a Glasgow off. I ultimately, I think it came down to about a 4 or a 5 point lead. I can't quite remember the exact score, but Morgan won. Mm-hmm. He definitely outplayed me. I can't speak as to how good his list was, because I have no point of comparison.
I haven't actually seen the list altogether, but I know it doesn't have. It's not a stereotypical PHR list. No. No, I think that's the first time I've seen a Radimus on a table.
Okay, fair enough.
Usually you see the Sarpedon.
Yeah. And yeah, the Radimus, the plan for it was throw it up in my face and force me to deal with it, which I did. Yeah. Only just. I think I only managed to because I got a lucky defences offline when I crippled it. But otherwise, that would have cost me several turns to deal with. Yeah, interesting list to play against. Speaking of lists, because of the wonders of New Recruit, I will put a link to the tournament on New Recruit, which is up forever, I think. Which will have all lists if you're curious about the placings and what everyone ran and so on. But yeah, ultimately, Morgan basically avoided giving them the Dreadnought what it wanted, while he surgically killed all my drop and dropped on the drop sites, which is how you play drop fleet.
Flying figure 8s around 2 moons.
Yeah, exactly. Really fun game.
Would be very keen to try some more Missions with Moons at a later date.
How did you finish in terms of placement?
I came fourth.
That's not bad at all.
Not bad at all. I definitely can't complain. And it would have been gauche to podium in my own tournament. That's why I held back, obviously. Not true at all. Do you remember where you came?
Reasonably sure I was 7th.
7th, so sort of middle of the pack.
Yeah, more than happy with that. First
Nice.
time I've had a crack of the whip with a competitive play, so yeah, more than happy with that.
I think Ethan took the wooden spoon.
Bless him.
Bless him.
Such a good sport
Absolutely.
all day.
Speaking of, do you recall who picked up best sports?
It was Luke.
Luke.
Yeah.
You said he's one of your regulars.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Luke is the only player who's been to every event I've run.
Oh, nice.
I believe he's the only person who's been to all of them.
The podium, I can't remember who came third. I'm very sorry.
Is it Chris?
Chris, yes. Chris with his fluorescent Shaltari
Yeah.
came third. Sophie of our channel came second, undefeated.
Yeah.
And Morgan came first, also undefeated, but with a higher strength of schedule, which is the first tiebreaker, which is strength of schedule. It's hard to say, but it is the sum of the tournament points of everyone you played.
Yeah.
So it basically says, okay, you won all your games, but you played harder opponents than the other person who won all the games. Therefore, you beat them. So well done to everyone. I think everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah,
as I can tell.
a really good day.
Best painted. Best painted went to me. Just like, come on, guys, you can't give me best painted at my own event. So it did go to the honorary second place to Chris, which I believe he did very well as well. He did grumble about losing to me in a painting award, but
I think his exact words were, "Yay, I get a pity prize."
always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Sorry, Chris. And again, everyone enjoyed. I don't know what else to say about the event. Really, any other thoughts? Anything you want to add about it? How did you find
No,
playing
it
an
was
event?
it was run really well.
Oh, thank you.
Put my teeth back in. No, run really well. The venue was good, really accommodating. I'm probably going to have a go at using, I was going to say Battlescribe, it's not Battlescribe at all, it's New Recruit.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to have a crack at that the next time I run an event, because that looks like a really fantastically easy way of doing things.
It was such a breeze compared to my, again, I don't know how many tournament organisers are watching this.
It fixed your pairings as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Love that.
was able to tell it, like, fix the pairings, make sure that no one plays the same faction twice in a row.
Oh, okay.
It coincidentally meant that round 5 was like 5 mirror matches, weirdly.
Oh.
Because of it worked out the rankings, but then swapped them around so that if you've already played Shaltari, you don't play Shaltari again.
Right, I see.
But it meant that, there were 5 mirror matches. The only non-mirror matches were Morgan, who was the only PHR player, and you, who was the only Scourge player.
Yeah.
So weird how it worked out of 12 players. But you can do other things as well. You can override if you want these 2 players to not play each other or to play each other.
Oh, okay.
So one thing I've seen before at events is it might be, you get people saying, we want a grudge match.
Yeah.
My friend has beaten me every other event. I want to fight him in round 3 or fight him in round 1. Or I always play my friend. Could I not play them, please? Also fine.
Yeah.
Incredibly versatile bit of kit.
Yeah.
Thoroughly recommended to anyone running any events. Definitely going to use it for Danger Close as well. I think that is everything about Beat Quarters. There'll be some photos going up as we're talking as well, so you're not just looking at our faces. Shall we talk about these battleships people have very politely waited for us to get to? Last episode, or episode 1.5 I called it because it wasn't quite a full episode. We obviously got these from TT Combat, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And we unboxed them, we showed off the sprues, and then went into the painting mines.
Yes.
And got to work. Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
You carry on here.
I'll carry on. There you go. Have a look. What should we say? Lovely kit, really nice kit to build. It is obviously fully modular, so it builds all of the battleships and all of the super battleships. There will be at some point a TT community article about the different options and my personal thoughts on what you want to run and so on and what they do. But yeah, absolute dream to put together. I did do my best to magnetise it, or magnetise it where it's necessary, even. So if I sort of pull it apart to its base components, that comes off, and these come off, which I'm then going to lose on my orange mat because my fleet is orange. So that's sort of your core basic model. Throwing paints on the floor. That's the core basic model, which you build all the others from it. On the shoulders, you have the mass drivers, which are very easy to magnetise. I just drilled a hole into it, pushed a magnet in, and then clipped off the little nub on the underside of the mass drivers and added a magnet.
Replaced it with a magnet.
Exactly. Which can then be swapped out for the lasers. There's a very satisfying clack when
Yes. Oh, they fit into 2 of the ports.
Yeah, it's quite clever. I have to jiggle them around, make sure they're actually converging where they should.
Yeah.
But they fit very easily. I don't think you could push fit them because I think they're just too light. They just fall out.
Fall off.
But again, magnets dead easy to do. And then on the chin, this little bit here is where you would. Let's go with this first. On the top, you've either got this part here, which is no weapons, so that I didn't magnetise this bit because I couldn't find a way to magnetise it. But actually, the pressure fit is absolutely fine. Like, I've not pushed that in hard. I would push it in a bit harder if I can actually play with it. But yeah, this is it's not going anywhere.
No, perfect.
It's absolutely fine. So yeah, with that bit on top, that would be for any of the non-launch standard battleships.
Right.
So the Beijing, the Tokyo, and the Hanoi.
Yeah.
And then again, just pop it off and pressure fit this part here, the New York launch module, and then just sits on top like that, which is how you would end up in New York.
I've seen all the mixed responses about the visual of that. I really like it.
I like it.
Yeah.
It looks very Halo.
Yeah, it does have a very Halo quality
Yeah,
about
it's
it.
just a blunt. I can imagine it ramming.
Yes.
Put it that way. This is very, very Normandy, very Mass Effect.
Yes.
Whereas this is aggressive. This is utilitarian. This is very, very UCM. If you want to make it into a deli, this is the controversial bit.
Uh-huh.
This little bit here just slots on the front of the torpedo, and this is the only part where I had some issues trying to make it be a do-everything ship, because it will just about pressure fit on those. I did make sure I'd very heavily varnish the torpedo first, because it's not going to scrape the paint off, but I'm not that confident this will stay on during the game.
I see, okay.
That said, really low tech, you mentioned it in the last video, really low tech solution, a little bit of blue tack in there. The blue tack won't rub the paint off because it's varnished. Done, so very easy.
Other tack colours are available.
Also, any tack you want. So yeah, very easy to do that. And then on the chin, if it is a Delhi or a New York, there is this little, dropping bits again, this little not a gun bit, and I just basically put some magnets in here, cut off the little bit that attaches there, and it just clips on.
Okay, so that's if you're running it as a standard battleship class.
Yes, it's a standard battleship, so the New York only has the launch bit on the top,
I see.
and the Delhi only has the Delhi bit on front of it,
Oh, okay.
and then it has no chin-mounted weapon.
I see.
So its only weapons are, for the New York it's literally the shoulder weapons, and for the Delhi it's the shoulder weapons plus some larger mass drivers on the nose.
Okay.
If you want to make it into any of the other battleships, that comes off, and then obviously you have the other top, but then Hanoi,
The business gun.
yeah, with a new under-over double-barreled mass driver.
Now available in core damage.
Indeed. The laser, oh, that's a bit skewiff.
I've seen some people using that component to make, is it an Avalon? Or is it the Atlantis?
It'll be the... whichever one it is that's not a Perth.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. But I've seen people using that component on the new cruiser sprues to make an equivalent.
That's an interesting idea. I might have to try that. I will give that a go at some point. But yeah, the laser makes it into either of the standard the Tokyo or the Beijing,
Yeah.
and then Magnetizing the chin weapons, again, dead simple. I say pulling it apart. 3 magnets along there, drilled in so they're flush. Clip off the connecting points on the mass drivers. I glued them together because I think that mass drivers pointing in different directions looks untidy.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to lose this, whereas I might lose individual ones. I've not got them out, but then there are also 3 bombardment cannons that go on the bottom of that bit. There is the slight controversy we mentioned last time. There are no bombardment cannons in the box.
Which did remind me, I've got spare ones for you.
Oh, I've got plenty.
Oh, have you?
I'm good, thank you.
If anyone else wants spares, let me know.
Yeah, I think most UCM players will have spares. It's a bit of a pity they're not in there, but the sprue is quite cramped.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, again, magnet goes in here. Oh, one other thing. I did put some magnets on the inside of the hull, just so I can... Come on, don't break. Come on. This may be permanently a super battleship.
I'm nervous for you.
Right, there we go. It's just I can just take the back off if I don't want the improved engines or if it's not a super battleship. And all I did there was put 2 magnets in that part. And I hope the camera's picking this up. And then put some magnets on the other side of this before gluing the hull together. And then it just...
Oh, okay. So just behind the layer of plastic then, effectively?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then they're strong enough magnets to just pull through that plastic and hold it in place.
Nice.
I mean, actually friction fits anyway. Now it's got paint on it. But the magnets are just there for a bit of reassurance.
Yeah.
And that was that.
Okay.
I added my, at this point, signature drive plumes. I get a few questions about those. They're just 3D printed. I might ask the person who designed them if I can put the files up somewhere, actually.
They are really nice.
Thank you. It adds a nice bit of nice touch on the rear end. And it contrasts well with the orange. In one of, I think, the battle report I put up of this fleet, their premiere or debut, someone did ask how I painted it, so I just thought I'd quickly run through that as well. What did I do? Primed black, first of all. The hull is these mostly TT combat paints. The hull is dark slate grey, just airbrushed all over to give me a nice dull grey colour. And then airbrushed ash grey, just basically over the top, but not over everything, so leaving some of the dark slate grey in recesses. And then picking out layering up the panels with ash grey as well, because it goes on a bit stronger with a regular brush than an airbrush, so you then get that slight transition from the grey panels leading up to sort of the middle point. The white panels, quite similar actually. They started as ash grey. They were then layered up with shale grey that I've not got out, but it's just another mid-tone grey. You could use any greys, really. Colours don't really matter, grey is grey. And then edge highlighted all of them with frosted edge, which is this nice kind of slightly greenish.
It's a nice colour, actually,
yeah,
isn't it?
It's a very nice colour. And yeah, just kind of each of these light grey panels was edged with that, and then picked out all the dots. Sheltari players do not have a monopoly on dots, don't let them tell you otherwise. These ships are covered in dots and lines, just make them pop a little bit more.
I've already been critiqued online.
So that was the white panels. The metallics were really simple. They were just folded steel, watered down Black Templar, which I find adding some water makes it a bit more like the old Null oil. Whereas the new Null doesn't cover quite as well. It goes into recesses more. This tints it a bit better.
Okay. So I used water rather than a thinner?
Yeah, because I'm not really going for the contrast effect.
Okay.
So I just basically want a wash in effect. So just adding some water to it makes it just a bit thinner and tints the metallics. And then edge highlighted a few bits, not even all of it, couldn't be bothered, but picking out things like, say, the point defense lasers with ancient steel afterwards.
Very nice.
The laser really didn't try very hard here. Dragon Scale Brass, Agrax Earthshade, Dragon Scale Brass again.
Amazing.
Done.
Sorted.
There's hardly any on it, but there's just the little parts here on the laser and on the Cobra lasers on the top. Very simple to do. Took no time at all. Adds a spot colour. The secret sauce. There are 2 bits of secret sauce. There are the orange panels, which I'm hoping show as orange, because in photos they look red. It's really weird. Mostly because of one of the paints I'm using, but they are Proacryl bold Pyro Red, which is the reddest red I've found.
Incredibly punchy colour, really nice paint. All these lovely paints. TT Comets paints are really good workhorse ones. But yeah, I found that Pro Acryl had that extra punch I wanted.
Okay.
Then mixed that red with Pro Acryl's orange. One thing, this is a tangent. I'm just monologuing about painting.
No, it's fine.
That's okay. One thing I really like about Pro Acryl is that if this was by Citadel, this would be called something like Goblin Snot.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Or Sunset Mood, or Flavours of Autumn. It's called orange.
Perfect.
What colour is it? It's orange. So, yes.
Yeah.
More of this, please.
There is something quite refreshing about that.
There is. So yeah, that was then a layer of those two mixed together, about 1-to-1, again, pushing toward the middle and the raised bits. And then edge highlighted it with pure orange, to try and get it to actually look orange, and then glazed it with fluorescent orange, which is why it's, again, quite so loud, and why the camera is sometimes not quite sure what to do with it, because the fluorescent paints confuse it, I think. But yeah, just basically glazed over all the orange panels with that to give it that real extra punch. It does also mean that when Chris is waving around his UV torch on the Sheltari, and it catches my fleet goes too.
Fantastic.
The drive plumes, incredibly simple. They were just painted white and then airbrushed white around them to catch the engines and the cones and the parts where the light bounced off the rest of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And then airbrushed Vallejo's fluorescent blue over the bits I wanted blue.
Yeah.
And then just painted them white again.
Very nice.
This is a horrible paint. It behaves absolutely awfully, but it is the only fluorescent blue I've found that works. There's the other secret sauce.
Oh.
Which, very, very professional. Honestly, this feels like cheating. Is to me a panel liner in black. Have you used panel liner at all?
No.
No. Give it a go. It's liquid talent.
Okay.
Basically, once I've done everything else described, gloss varnish the entire model.
Okay.
Which then means that liquids will then not stick to it. They'll
Yeah.
run into recesses. And then this stuff, you just comes with a little applicator on the end. Literally touch it to the recesses, and then capillary action will make it flow into just the recesses.
Ooh.
And I'll say touch here, and it'll spread across like several square centimeters into just the recesses.
Is it just the?
Seriously, try it. It's incredible stuff.
Excellent.
Do that. Let it sit for a couple of hours, and then just get like microfiber cloth with a little bit of white spirit on it, and then just tidy up a few bits of the panels.
Fantastic.
It's disgusting. I feel ashamed of myself. I feel like I'm cheating.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Okay, fair enough. UCM ships are made for it as well, because you've got all these segmented panels. That's it. I don't know if that's of interest. If you want more painting stuff, obviously let us know. I'm obviously, as you can tell, happy to monologue about painting. But yeah, took about a week's worth of painting to do. But I'm quite a slow painter. And a lot of that was trying to figure out how to magnetize it.
But it shows in the result then as well, doesn't it? So
yeah, thank you. It's come out quite nicely, I think. And it means it can be run as literally any battleship. Perfect. You came up with a different solution to what if I want to run different battleships, didn't you?
I did. So I began magnetizing some of these, and then had a horrible time trying to magnetize some of the components, and decided the solution was buy more.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
No. So some of the components, is this actually the magnetic one? I did actually go to the trouble of trying to magnetize this to varying degrees. So there's a magnet just on the inside of the carapace there.
All the same way round.
That's it. And then it's slightly off center, but I can't quite get it to do it now. There's let me just pick it up and do it, because I can't quite see it on the camera. There's a little peg at the front which will hold it into position if your magnet is not quite in the right place like mine. So pop that back down, you can see that's fairly flush.
Yeah.
But what I didn't notice is actually these do friction fit rather nicely as well.
Oh,
So there's really no need for the magnets. So I can chop and change those as I like.
nice.
If I could be a bit more dexterous about it, that would
It
be...
is at arm's reach, in fairness.
So yeah, there we go. We've got that currently as a, I believe that'll be a Lucifer.
Okay.
So it's got the engine upgrade on the back.
Which was modelled, I think we concluded.
It was modelled.
Yeah, nice. Or is modelled. It is
So
still modelled.
similarly, actually, so the carapace pretty much carries all the guns aside from the underslung torpedo bay and the underslung, what's that? That's a plasma nasty, I'm going to call it, because I can't remember the actual word.
Yeah.
But it's not very nice. The plasma one, interestingly, does friction fit.
Yeah.
But the torpedo is slightly too heavy.
Okay.
So I have actually glued that one in. But I'm going to magnetize the other two so I can chop and change.
Okay. Does something go there instead if it has neither?
It doesn't. No, it actually doesn't. But
You've not got like an equivalent of this bit, which is just a nothing.
no, but the where the engines do fit on the model, these actually friction fit again.
Oh, nice.
So that's the engine upgrade, and that is the cloaking keel.
Cool.
Friction fits nicely, doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then there's also a blanking panel, which can just fit.
It doesn't have an upgrade panel.
That's it, and that friction fits quite nice as well. It takes a bit of fiddling to get it back out, but it does friction fit.
Sure.
So reasonably, you glue, I think there's 5 components altogether to build the actual ship's hull, which are the 4 wings and the sort of central part of the ship itself.
Yep.
Outside of that, everything except the torpedo will friction fit on these.
Even these parts here on top of the wings.
No, sorry. I
So
forgot.
you sent me a work in progress photo. I think you were crying at the time.
I
You were
was,
trying to-
yes.
trying to magnetise it.
So I pinned mine because I couldn't get magnets. I couldn't get enough purchase on my my drill to actually. There's not much material to work with there.
Right.
So in the end, I ended up pinning these in and then got annoyed and glued them in. So this permanently has the plasma lance. But no, these I've used the low-tech solution of blue tack.
I mean, I can't see any, so
Yeah. So
it works.
yeah, which is fine. So I mean, it is low-tech, but if magnetizing isn't for you, then there are alternatives because most of these pieces will just quite neatly sort of sit together.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you turn your model upside down while playing with it? If you can move the model without the bits falling off,
Yeah,
friction fits probably
that's
fine.
it. Yeah, because they are sort of reasonably nice if you shake them. If you turn it upside down, that was most certainly going to come away.
Sure, but you know these.
No, and then there's plenty of other sort of build options. Painting didn't take me quite as long as you did, and
Yeah, I heard.
isn't quite as detailed as yours.
Well, you got 3 of them done in how long?
5 hours. I actually
It's not bloody
I assembled and primed 2 of them in that time. So I took one to my local gaming store and then decided I needed 2 more. Put them together, primed them, painted all 3. I did some touch-ups on the undersides today.
Okay.
Otherwise, it took me 5 hours to paint. And I only touched one of the model's undersides up because I thought they might end up on a camera.
Probably frequently put the camera underneath the model, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've told you this story about Weapons 3. Friend of mine, Lawrence, who entered the painting competition. Everyone entered their best painted model. And it was very prestigious because Dave Lewis had been let out of the dungeon to judge the painting
Yes,
competition.
yeah.
And someone overheard Dave picking up Loz's model and going, "Oh, if he painted the bottom, I might have given it something."
Well,
So, finish your bottoms.
yes, I'm glad I wasn't around for that one because mine wouldn't have been painted on the inside either. The
So,
scheme,
how did you paint it?
yeah, the scheme is it lends itself to being quick. I mean, I am fast painter because I tend to make things as simple as possible because my skill level for painting isn't the same as some other people. So I go for a battle ready option.
Sure.
So
Which I think is probably more useful than me monologuing that painting for half an hour.
well, it's horses for courses, I
I
suppose,
suppose, yeah.
because you've got some people that will most certainly prefer your method over mine. But they were primed in a lead belcher rattle can from Citadel range.
Yep.
they were all Citadel paints on these ones, but there are equivalent TT combat paints for all the colours I've used.
Yeah.
Are they called candy coats, the equivalent to contrast?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they are contrast equivalent, but they give a similar result to what you've got here, which is that kind of, that candy coat, that kind of sports car, really reflective look.
Yes.
I've not tried them, but they look interesting.
So once the primer is on, I dry brushed gold areas over the primer because it helps with the blending later. Okay. So wherever the green is going to meet the purple, I dry brush gold into that area. I'm pretty sure I use Retributor gold for that.
Okay.
And then once the two colored primer is on, start with the green. Mm-hmm. You've got to keep the green moving to stop it from streaking, particularly on these larger sort of flat wing areas.
Yeah, well, there's not much detail for the contrast to really do anything with.
No, but that's just one reasonably heavy coat, actually. Straight from the tub, there's nothing diluted. So that was Warp Lightning Green I've used for that.
Okay.
And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, I used Volupus Pink for the pinky purple sort of area. Where the two colours have met then over the gold, I've dry brushed the gold back over to feather the effect.
Right.
So it's a real cheap, easy way of blending.
It works really well.
Yeah, it's quite nice. It looks better than it should for how long it takes. I re-key in then all the areas where we've got this sort of tealy turquoise colour. I paint those back in lead belcher where I've had to tidy a few areas up if I've overcooked some of the contrast paint. And I've gone back over that area then with Ithomatic Blue. Mm-hmm. Quite a heavy coat of Ithomatic Blue because the pigment's not very strong, so you can be a bit more...
It's one of the weaker contrast paints, isn't it?
It is,
yeah.
But you can be a bit more heavy-handed with it. I did dry brush gold on the wingtips just to put a bit more contrast in because there was a lot of green otherwise. Mm-hmm. And I'm reasonably certain there's not much more other than I painted Mephiston red on the Oculus beams.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the very rough dotted highlight I've got in those was a dot of Cadian flesh. And that is it. I'm probably going to spray varnish them.
Yeah.
So I've got a can of matte varnish, which I'll do at some stage just to stop them chipping
and so on. Yeah. Particularly if you're going with friction fits, I think you need to.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was really as simple as that.
I mean, it's an incredibly effective paint scheme, especially given it took you 5 hours to do 3 battleships. I think I'd finished assembling mine within 5 hours.
So I'm going to give 2 of these a run on the weekend.
Nice.
I haven't decided which 2 I'm using yet, but it's either going to be this thing, which is a Samael, and the special Admiral Demon, the Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
So it's either the 2 of those in the list, or it'll be a Realm and a Lucifer.
Nice.
I haven't decided which it's going to be yet, but there we go. That's those 2 there.
I've not got a chance to try mine yet. I need to have a game at some point soon, but I'm very keen to try the Thebes.
Yes.
Which is all the drop,
yeah.
And then the big mass drive on the chin. I think that's the one that appeals to me the most, but yeah. I can try any of them because built in as all of them.
Yeah.
Let's join you there. There we go.
Screw those, here we are.
Pretend we're friends. I think that's it. Yeah, again, thank you to TT Combat for sending them to us. They are absolutely lovely models. I do want to get a second one at some point. I've got a really double battleship lists in my head. I want to copy someone's list. I saw someone talking about a list the other day on Discord, which was, I think it was 2 Thebes and a Venice.
Ooh.
Because I think we may have talked about this in the last episode of the unboxing, but with the Venice, with a rear admiral in it, that can then be essentially plus 6-inch move.
Yeah.
With 4 admiral points, but you're yeeting a fast battleship extra 6 inches on max thrust.
Splendid.
And then what are you going to do about it? It's a battleship. It doesn't die quickly.
No, that's it.
And if it does, there's another one.
And I think you can use... It's not... Yeah, the battleships, you can use your escorts as well, can't you?
Yeah.
Super.
So send some... people swear by the Vienna. I actually want to try it with Vancouver's because they can keep up.
They can keep up.
Thrust 10.
And they can put fighters out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that'd be... God, that's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
And just put down 6 drop or 10 drop, depending on if it's uncontested or not,
Yeah.
every turn. But I need another one, so I'll have to get a second battleship first.
Yeah. The one I'm dying to run is the Samael, which is basically just all the guns in one nice, neat little package. And I couldn't help myself. So that's what I glued together.
Right.
So it is a Samael until the end of time, but...
No regrets so far.
Zero. Yeah, it'll be fine, I'm sure.
I do have to say, I mean, I'm sure some mathematicians will disagree with me, but looking at the UCM stat lines, there are no duds.
Oh, right, really?
There are none I looked at and went, that's pointless, I would never feel that.
No, that's like, yeah.
I think the Beijing is maybe eclipsed a bit by the other ones.
Okay.
The Beijing being the standard battleship with laser mass drivers and then shoulder weapons. Just because for the same points you could have that with bombardment cannons, which are just more useful generally.
Yeah.
But there may be exceptions.
I think the dragon with the Scourge, I really like the dragon aesthetically. I really want to like it more.
Yeah.
But it's very expensive. I think it's overcosted for what it can actually do.
Okay.
It's a bit of a jack of all trades, master, and then doesn't do quite enough in any area.
So you may be paying too much for that versatility, but it's never going to do everything at the same time.
I think it could probably do with like a 30, 40 point drop, or maybe do something more with torps, because the Scourge torps are average, best.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think outside of that, I think most of the other selections are fine.
Yeah. I guess this is speculation on our part, but I guess the question will then be when we can see the next ones. We don't know.
We don't know.
We do not know
when
the next battleships are coming, to be clear. But we do know they are coming.
Yeah.
We do know that every single fleet is getting a battleship. They are all going to make super battleships as well.
Yeah.
Including biofizzers. There was some speculation as to will they get supers or will they get supers later or not. Or no, that kit when it lands builds both battleships and the super battleships. That's good.
I'm wondering whether you'll see any. Obviously, the UCM and the biofighters had their cruisers. Well, biofighters have been done initially, but where the UCM cruisers have been redesigned, I'm wondering if you'll see some of the factions which still have their original ones redesigned
in this new design. Or to match the design a bit more.
Possibly, maybe.
I don't know. I would be great. It would be great if it is. I think everyone would love to see, say, a new Scourge core ship kit and a new PHR core ship kit.
Yeah. Even if they just had other build options.
That's a good point. I imagine it's low priority.
Yeah.
Because one thing that one bit of feedback I overheard from both our Biofisser players at the tournament there was a lot of negative feedback about Biofizzers, but one part was just that they're playing with half a deck because they don't have any actual heavy bruiser ships yet. You can make a good Biofizzer list. You definitely can. There are some horrific ones, but you've got a major part of their fleet composition just missing currently.
Yeah.
So they're, I assume, a priority.
Yeah. What do you see a Dreadnought class? Be nice.
I can neither confirm or deny.
Oh.
Possibly having seen something regarding there maybe being a Dreadnought at some point.
Interesting. Okay. Ooh.
Which I may mention more off camera about the thing I can neither confirm or deny knowing anything about.
Okay.
I mean, they'd be silly not to, because, again, it's a part of the fleet they're missing.
They're missing out on, yeah.
Who knows, maybe they'll get space stations eventually as well.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
And then they will have literally everything everyone else can do.
Yeah.
After that, after they've done that, fully fleshed out the Biofisser ranks and brought in new battleships for every fleet, I don't know what's next.
No, I've heard mention of fleets having their own deployable assets, kind of similar to deployable features similar to the Biofighters.
That's a good point. That's something that was actually promised from day one, or not promised, but talked about from day one, wasn't it? That we've so far haven't seen.
And sub factions, I'm sure, has been mentioned on video somewhere. With Dave's mentioned on a video.
That rings a bell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting to see. We're still very much in the early days of the edition. So who knows?
Yeah, watch its space.
Yeah. Obviously, when more stuff does get announced, nice segue, professionals. When there is more stuff to talk about, obviously we'll do more of these videos. I think, as we said in episode 1, these aren't necessarily going to be a monthly or definitely not a weekly podcast. It'll be when there's something, which across various drop first games. So next big thing, unless TTC surprise us, is probably Striketeam.
Yeah.
Dropzone is getting a balance pass. I know it's being worked on. I am hoping it will be out in time for Danger Close.
Yeah.
Which, if it is, that'll be March. So that's not that far away.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Hint, nudge, nudge. Yes. Oh, I don't need to be subtle.
No.
I am nudging regularly. But yes, it would be very nice to have that happen sooner rather than later. I expect we might see some reveals or something at Games Expo.
I suspect there will be.
Because last Expo was when they were showing off
Striketeam,
sprues.
yeah.
Oh, they were showing off, they had the Striketeam diorama.
Yes.
And they were showing off the sprues.
Oh, yes,
for
yeah.
the UCM. I know it seems like an age ago.
Yeah, it does really.
But they were showing off the UCM and Biofizzer ships. So we'll presumably, hopefully, see something at Games Expo as well. Which we'll let you know about.
Yeah.
If you want to make sure you see that when it happens, again, professional segue, make sure to like and comment so that this video reaches more people and then we get more attention and more inclined to do more of this.
Yeah.
Make sure to subscribe so that you get notified when those videos go up. I think you can subscribe to podcasts a bit differently as well. People did ask if we could put this on other podcasting platforms as well.
Yes.
I will, so I'm not that familiar with how Spotify and the various other ones work yet. Do the equivalent of liking, commenting, and subscribing, please. It would be appreciated. And again, we'll make sure it gets further and reaches more people.
Yeah.
If you want to support the channel, there is our Patreon in the description. Any money that goes into that just goes into spending more on the channel, things like lighting, sound equipment, mats, terrain, occasionally models, etc.
I'm sure we get Dave to bless your dice, maybe.
Yeah, that would be a good ask.
Yeah.
Definitely ask. And yeah, if you want to buy anything Dropzone, Dropfleet, eventually Striketeam related, we do have our affiliate link with Firestorm Games as well. They do everything a bit below RRP, and anything you buy, we get a kickback, which again, all the same stuff goes into the channel. That's it. That is the sales pitch. Thank you for watching. If you're still here,
yeah.
more coming soon.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.